How do we want the emotes to work? Well, I guess what I want is if we kind of like had it appear next to their name or something. Kind of like we've got this announce line and these other guys. If we have a little thing next to your name, that'll pop it up. Maybe that would work. So maybe all I have to do to fix this is just find which player is the one who had the emote and put it in next to their name position. And we also want to take out the emotes that aren't used for anything. I mean that kind of break the meta. The fiddling with options is fun. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Because I think we should take out my emotes. Like those aren't worth. They kind of break the idea between all this. So I think I'm just going to change all these to we'll just keep them like this. Well, the idea is if we're going to have emotes, I don't think we're going to have Twitch emotes because I think that's a little bit intrusive to the game. I think pretty much what we're going to want to do here is have emotes that are built into the game and are part of, they're part of what we have. So it should be more along the lines of just like an emotes folder. And I should go download all these emote images and throw them in the game, I can't save it. What the fuck is this? It's a 0 file, right? That's really stupid. So let's just save these in the right folder. Because I definitely think Adam is going to want to keep everything. You know, it was one of those things where, you know, he talks about it. It seemed like such a good idea at the time, but then we actually implemented it and I feel awful. And it has to do with, you know, Adam's like an artist and all that shit, and cares about scene composition and, like, that things all look like they fit. You know, like he actually gives a damn about what he's making, which is alien to me. So, you know, I could really care about most things. Which is probably why we work together well on this stuff, is that, you know, he'll have strong opinions about some of the visual stuff, and I'll just be like, I don't give a fuck. And therefore, it's, you know, we just do whatever he wants. So it works out. It's just that simple. Okay, so these images will need to be based on location for these emotes. So let's make sure all these emotes are actually here. Instead of having them like cover up the whole damn area and stuff like that, I mean, all we have to do is just have the emote appear next to the player's name. And it'll be fine. G enable emotes, yes. Well, let's think about this emote location. Like, it's not going to work, is it? Because we don't have player names over here. So we need a solution for emotes, which works on all these screens. I mean, we could just have a little emote area in each corner for each team, so I mean, that wouldn't be too bad, actually. So Yeah, that's pretty much the thing. Is just they're in the way. All right, so we're gonna have left. So if team is equal to left team, otherwise Alright, so that supposedly should do a bit for us. G emote top is not defined. Alright, so this is 1725. Okay, so we're going to start off with negative 4.5. Top is going to be negative 5.5. So top is negative 10. Team is 1, so the right pause. So left should be Alright, let's just position these guys. So that's left 50 with a top of negative 20. Oh, these things are reversed. Its top is left and left is top. Well, that would do it. And let's see, where's the emote? Emote container. And let's set these guys to 8 vmin. That's not an emote. I mean, that's not too bad. Like just having simple stuff pop up there. Because you see the text line at least, so you can kind of. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Is just something simple like that. Now the question, of course, is they're not really very team specific. But that's okay. I think we'll eventually have better stuff. So we'd have kind of a personal icon for yourself. So when this pops up, it might have your icon with the bitey. I might also want to do a transform on this thing. So we just flip the image, and so we'd want root node. So we add some CSS classes here to this, and we'll flip the image. That's not an image that actually has a fucking flip on it, though. Yeah, okay, so there we go. We'll flip the emotes for the various teams, so that'll work. So let's see how that looks in the game. Alright, so all these paths are wrong because of how CSS works when we're in JavaScript files, because the JavaScript files are included in the index HTML page, so Chrome will fix all this crap up, but Chromium will not. So paths have to align. Cool. So that doesn't appear to work properly because the team isn't getting set. Alright, so the team is getting set to right. So let me just see what we're actually getting for team. Team is BST none. Okay, so that's not correct at all. We should be getting BST left or whatever. Yeah, lugging your computer around is, it's even one of those things where, like, my mom would freak out when we were growing up if we did anything with the computer. It's like, you're carrying the computer upstairs. Oh my god, stop it! You could break that. You know, so actually, like, dragging it around a foreign country sounds like not super fun. BST none? Parse messages from team equals cmessage.team. So that's going to be get chat messages in the game. So we have user ID, then a E Dashkin Brackensec team. BST red, BST blue. Here we go. BST none is not what we want. See, it's going to be a player proxy actor, so the player proxy actor should have, I believe, just team. Yeah, team is Brackensec team, so that'll work. Parse messages from games, so basically what we're going to have here is if cmessage.team is equal to the BST red, cmessage, yeah, we'll do message.team equals left team ID. Else if cmessage.team is equal to BST blue, it will be right. Otherwise, the team is going to be... Do we have a no team? Yeah, we'll just do var game no team ID -1. Kind of not how I should be doing this, but it's not the worst. So I gotta recompile. Yeah, it's like going down for GDC shortly. I'll just always be keeping everything on me, which is like, I usually don't like tablets. Like, I don't really see much of a use for them, but when you're traveling, tablets are incredibly helpful, especially ones that can kind of double up as a laptop when necessary. You know, at least a keyboard and a USB for a mouse or something. Because like when you're traveling, tablet's super awesome because it's big enough to actually show somebody. It's also big enough that, you know, nobody can easily like just steal it like a phone. And it can do a lot like GPS and maps and everything you can actually do. And that tablets usually have pretty good battery life compared to phones. And usually when you're traveling, your phone is always out of fucking battery. So it also doubles as a battery pile for you to plug your phone into your tablet and suck the juice out of it. So if you're traveling, I recommend tablets. Yeah, especially if you're working, right? And especially if you're working and they're not giving you equipment to work on, then you have no choice. You must lug all your stuff around. G gameplay is not defined. So, what did I screw up? Invalid token or expression 2242. Yeah, that's because I screwed this up. BST red, BST blue. So that's actually pretty cool. I think that's good enough. So let's say we paste the hell out of everything for this. So the maximum amount of spam you can do is 1 emote each. So if you're spamming the absolute hell out of this thing, then this is pretty much the max you can do. It just looks like a giant jumbled ball of garbage up there, but it's just one jumbled ball of garbage, so Tetsuo. So that looks fine to me. So I'll call that fixed for the emotes. Oh yeah, I need an email for this thing. So, yeah, exactly. So, simple emotes, nothing too crazy. Let's make sure... Let's revert our unchanged files and do a reconcile in that UI folder. And we got nothing in there. So, let's see, wishlist features, UI level improvements. So I could do the ambient sound stuff. Alright. So let's do ambient sounds next for this. So what do we need for ambient sounds? Let's go to that UI level. Let's change that tooltip to something that looks non-shit. Stupid flat sack. And we gotta wait for this landscape to pop in. So let's save that, because I think that's a cooler looking thumbnail, where we got like the camera on a fat sack ball. Looks pretty pro. Alright. So let's think about what we need. So ambient sound stuff. So what we'd like is something that randomly fires a sound effect at its current location. Alright, well why don't we... Something that randomly fires a sound effect needs to be tied to a specific active viewport. And we want it to play randomly. So we want it to fire a sound effect, and we want to play like a min random time, max random time. Its current location, we want it to be global. All right. We're going to have something that plays constant effects, loop, tied to specific active viewport, and needs to have add current location or global. The other thing would be that we can have it fade in or fade out. Probably not. Like, we don't really need it to fade in and fade out. Okay, so we could do this a couple ways. Basically, have objects in the game, check the current active viewport, see if it matches our viewport, enum, then run our logic. So we could do it that way. So do we have a get active viewport function anywhere? Is it in level utils? Is it in viewport utils maybe? Activate viewport editor, activate viewport, get viewpoints, viewport, they're not viewports, they're viewpoints. Alright, yes, we do have get active viewpoint. So we should be able to make something that does all this. So this will be in cinematic. Let's make a new thing. So let me go see, do we have an object for cinematic actor? Is it based on anything? It's just Dashkin cinematic actor, which has a scene component. Does cinematic actor have anything else? Begin and end play. It's got nothing on it. Alright, cool. So we can go ahead and make another Dashkin cinematic actor. So let's make a... Let's make a cinematic actor. And let's call this BP. I guess we could make a looping sound cinematic actor, or we could just have this be just a sound cinematic actor. And do we have any pictures of stuff that could work for this? I'll just put like a picture of this. Gotta save it first because Unreal is stupid that way. So we'll capture thumbnail of water and that'll be a thing. So what this thing needs to do, so the logic I think is going to be pretty simple. We're going to have a variable on this thing which is going to be active viewpoint. So let's make it a viewpoint, EBS viewpoint, yeah. So we're going to set it to default to none. And basically inside of our tick function, we're going to call get active viewpoint. And if this is valid, we're going to call get view, and that is the actual enum. So if this is equal to this, then we will call our functions, which will be update active and update inactive. So we'll also want a activate, so we'll have like a start, and we'll also have a stop. Alright, so update active, update inactive. Okay, so let's have a boolean here for is active, or let's call this was active. So the first thing we'll do, if we were active, then we're good to go here for active. Otherwise, we're gonna call start. And we'll do things here, like start playing our sound effects and other crap like that. And stop, we'll want the same thing. We'll set was active to false. So if this was active, then we are going to call stop. Otherwise, we do the rest of it. Alright, so the other thing we're going to have is we want like a list of looping sounds, and then we need if the looping sounds are location based or not. Let's just do them one at a time. So basically we'll have a list of sounds, so sounds. So this will be an array of sounds. And we'll have a boolean here for use location. Use location. Why don't we have a volume? We'll have a loop. Let's see, we'll have a, I guess, a play randomly. And we'll have random min time and random max time. So let's put all this stuff into the audio category. So the other question is like weighted die rolls. Let me see. Yeah, we could do some weighted die roll stuff, but I don't think it's going to be simple enough for Adam to deal with. So I think I'll just give him rocks as opposed to more complex stuff, because probably won't be useful. Let's have another thing here, which is going to be always active. So if this is always active, then we will just always play it. So maybe he wants to set up a little bit more of a scene. With location-based sound effects and all that. Nothing too crazy though. So this is just simple cinematic sounds. It's not going to be anything insane. Okay, so the next thing is we'll have our variables. Let's make sure our tooltips, the sound to play, to loop, minimum time, play this randomly. If this sound is always active, regardless of viewpoint in use. Okay, so if this is active, if we're in start, so if the question is if we're looping, then we want to let's make a function here which is get random sound. And this needs to return a sound. So this will be a sound wave. So if it equals 0, then we're just going to return a big old nothing. Otherwise, we're going to return get a copy? Alright, whatever. Can't get a reference, I guess. Which, I guess, whatever. I don't think it's going to copy the asset. That just sounds stupid. Alright, so on start, so if we're looping, we'll get a random sound. If this is valid, then do the thing. Alright, so this is going to be, I guess this is interface sound effects. So UI, but what do we have right now for the in the UI anyway. We just have like sound effects and music and master volume. So I think I'm gonna play this in the sound effects channel. So SFX dupe string is whatever. Priority 1 volume is gonna be volume. Loop is gonna be 2. Dupe option restart. Priority do not allow dupes. Min to interrupt. This is valid. And this is an audio channel, so let's see. Looping channel. And we'll set our channel to this thing. I guess looping stuff doesn't have a location. I guess maybe we need to get another branch off of use location. So this will be like use location false, I guess. So we need get actor, location. Loop is true. Sound is gonna be this guy. And we'll set our looping channel here. Okay, so inside of stop, we're going to say if this guy is valid, then we're going to, if it's not valid, let's set it to null. Actually, we'll set it to null regardless. So what we want to do is there a stop? Yeah, there. That's better. Alright, so that's if we're a loop. Otherwise, it's going to be play randomly. So we're going to set last sound time to be somewhere between 0 and max, I believe, would be what we'd want to do. So random float range. So we'll set this to 0 and random max time. Let's set these random min time to be 0 and random max time to be like 10. Let's just make sure to set this to something reasonable to start with. It's just not like he puts a parrot and it's just like, rah, rah, like that fucking cockatoo outside of his house. And we'll want to add this together with the get real process time f. Yeah, because my family used to have a lot of birds, and by a lot of birds, I mean it was a disease. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my parents, but we had I think 14 birds at one point. I mean, not like finches or something. I mean like parrots.